What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the September 18th, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. Yes, we are 2 days late on this thing, usually, or actually 1 day late, because usually I put up these reviews on Sundays, but because I was away this weekend, I did not get finished watching the show until literally today. I did put up my review of Dark Side of the Ring, though, on Saturday. So the usual schedule moving forward should be, unless something changes for right now, a Marvel What If review on Friday with me, Chris, and Phil, Saturday SmackDown audio review, Sunday Talking Smack, and Monday Dark Side of the Ring. So stay tuned for all that. But today we are talking the September 18th, 2021 edition of Talking Smack, as I mentioned, on Peacock. This week we have Scott Stanford and Matt Camp hosting. So they really are going through different hosts on both shows to determine, I guess, what works, or depending whose schedule works out for each given week. So we've had at least 4 different combination of hosts on this show alone, not even including Raw Talk. So usually the show is hosted by Kevin Patrick and Matt Camp. I like them both. I think they're probably the best duo of all the duos that there are. But they're also kind of similar in that way too. I really think Kayla is the best person for the host role, but she can't do Talking Smack because she's at SmackDown doing the interviews backstage. So we've had Kevin Patrick and Matt Camp before. We've had Matt Camp as the host. And then in the analyst role, we've had Sam Roberts. I think that was last week or the week before. I think it was Sam Roberts last week. And we've also had Peter Rosenberg in the past as well. This week, it was Scott Stanford as the host and Matt Camp as the analyst. So they've also done Raw Talk together. They were good on this episode. They run down the biggest headlines from Friday's SmackDown, which I just got done talking about here for the channel, so check out that audio review when you get a chance. They also discussed how the Mysterios, nothing new here, are not on the same page. Dominic dropped another loss to Sami Zayn on Friday's SmackDown. Matt Camp says that Dominic, despite the loss, did give it his best effort to date. That was the best he's looked to date against Sami, and he still came up short. And he says that, hey, maybe the whole father-coach dynamic right now isn't exactly working. Ray trying to be a father to Dominic and his coach just isn't working out all that well for him. And maybe Dominic, as he has said before on Talking Smack, Matt Camp that is, maybe he needs to take a step back and find his guidance from elsewhere, not including his father. We hear quickly from Dominic. The interview lasts all of 60 seconds, probably less. Kayla asks him about his lack of success so far, and he says that he really feels he's ready to shine as a single star, and his father Ray just needs to let him prove it. He didn't give off any heel vibes here to me. That doesn't mean they're not turning him heel. A match between the two sounds good, but them turning Dominic heel and even Ray heel just sounds weird. So we'll see where they go with it. Matt Camp and Scott Stanford to recap the women's tag team match from Friday that saw Toni Storm and Liv Morgan beat Carmella and Zelina Vega in a tag team match by countout after Carmella broke her nose and walked out intentionally. We find out here that Carmella did indeed not break her nose, and that we're getting Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega next week before Morgan faces Carmella at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view that Sunday. Matt Camp wonders if it's starting to get personal between Carmella and Morgan, and I would argue we were already at that point months ago when they first started feuding. They then replay the Edge and Rollins match from last week's SmackDown, the same video package we got on SmackDown this week, in addition to Rollins' promo from SmackDown. They replay that as well. Matt Camp brings up a great point, and usually these analysts and the hosts on these WWE shows kind of give off these dumb, pointless points, if that makes sense, like shit that doesn't really mean anything. But Matt Camp points out the obvious here, and I've said this before as well, and I think he mentioned this last week, that what Rollins did to Edge in their match a week or two ago on SmackDown and MSG was completely legal. The only thing that he did that was admonished or just that was kind of frowned upon was the fact that in storyline anyway, he low-blowed Edge behind the referee's back when the referee wasn't looking. Other than that, he did nothing wrong. He beat him as he would any other opponent. And he doesn't blame him for that, he says. What he does blame him for was saying in his promo on Friday that it just wasn't enough. And he wonders what Rollins promising to end Edge's career would actually accomplish. They also recap Rick Boogs versus Robert Roode from SmackDown, a match that was won by Boogs, and they will do Apollo Crews and Shinsuke Nakamura next week, once again for the Intercontinental Championship. Matt Camp says that Crews wanting to come back for that Intercontinental title that he lost to Nakamura a month ago was inevitable. And we hear from Crews and Commander Aziz. We don't hear from Aziz, but he's standing behind Crews when he's doing this promo with Kayla. When Kayla says, why did you attack Nakamura or why now? And he says, why not tonight? I guess she was kind of getting at why not attack him a week or two ago? Like, you lost the belt like a fucking month ago, buddy. Why now? Well, the answer is, the draft's coming up, so we got to get this rematch out of the way before I probably go to Raw. I hope not. I would rather see, as I said in my SmackDown audio review, again, cheap plug, check it out. I'd rather see Nakamura go to Raw. They move Damian Priest to SmackDown. I don't really want to see Cruz and Big E back on the same show because I feel like they will attempt to run it back. Oh, it's over the WWE title now. Who gives a shit? I do not want to see those two on the same show anymore at this point in time. But yeah, he says that Nakamura stole the championship from him, and come next week, he will become a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. And he also questions when Nakamura's last defense was, which is a valid question. Nakamura has been champion now for 6 weeks. He hasn't, I don't think to my knowledge, defended it yet since he beat Cruz for it right before SummerSlam. But you can also turn it around and ask, when Cruz was champion, when was the last time that he when was the last time he defended the fucking title? The answer to that question, before he dropped it in mid-August, his last defense of that championship would have been in early June. I think June 4th, maybe? It was like that first Friday in June. He beat Kevin Owens to retain the title. I mean, he also did not defend that championship a whole lot, and he went like 2.5 months without defending it before finally losing it. So, anyway, he looks to bring honor back to the belt, and not a Ring of Honor entry, and not a Ring of Honor, pun intended there, but he looks to bring honor back to the Intercontinental Championship when he wins it back next week. Matt Camp and Scott Stanford replay the Big E and Finn Balor versus Usos tag team match that was won by Big E and Balor, and they talk about how big of a week it was for Big E last week, being the new WWE champion, going back to SmackDown and winning a tag team match. Big week for Big E indeed. They preview the New Day versus the Bloodline on Raw, which is going to be awesome, as well as Roman Reigns versus the Demon for the Universal Championship this Sunday at Extreme Rules. I don't think they made any mention of it being an Extreme Rules match. I'm probably wrong, but I thought they said that on SmackDown. I guess not. Oh well. Matt Camp says that he loves seeing Roman get so many challengers right now, whether it be the Demon on Sunday, or whether it be Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, or even whether it be Big E, and not for a championship, but it would be a champion versus champion match at this current point in time at Survivor Series, which pretty much all but confirms we're getting the brand supremacy shit again this year. And I like the world title versus world title matches, like the champion versus champion main events. The rest of the card is complete garbage for the most part, but whatever. Matt Camp likes seeing so many people step up to Roman because it increases the odds that we're going to get a new champion and Roman will not be champion for that much longer if all these people keep coming for the gold, you know. They replay Bianca Belair's homecoming celebration. Sonya Deville condemned Naomi's actions. We hear from her. She kind of goes off on how disrespectful it was for Naomi to walk up to her and demand a match and be so disrespectful, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. So she calls it unacceptable behavior, what she did, and she was lucky she only got a fine and not worse. She's looking forward to finding out who the real SmackDown Women's Champion is going to be at Extreme Rules between Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. And then she also calls Liv Morgan and Carmella, who are now made official in their match 1-on-1 for Extreme Rules. She calls them standout stars, and she looks forward to that match as well. To close out the episode, Matt Camp says that Becky Lynch has Bianca Belair's number right now after what we saw at the end of that homecoming celebration to close out SmackDown. And Becky is making Bianca more and more mad, and at some point, that's going to do Bianca in and cost her yet another win. And Camp just outright says, I don't care how much heat, he doesn't say this exactly, but he basically says, I don't care how much heat I get from Bianca fans for saying this, but Lynch has Bianca's number, and not only that, but Belair has no momentum right now. I don't know if I would go that far, but from a storyline standpoint, I guess it's true. But they have one more episode of SmackDown before the pay-per-view, and he hopes to see that change come Friday night. So a decent episode of Talking Smack here. The Dominic shit was short, sweet, straight to the point. Kind of pointless, but whatever. The Cruz shit was basic, building towards next week's Intercontinental title match. And Sonya was very good as well. I'm very intrigued by the whole Sonya-Naomi angle they're going with right now, so we'll see where it goes. But that's it, folks, for the September 18th, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. Thanks, as always, for checking out the show. I appreciate it. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for daily content, for more daily content, and hit the bell button to be notified every time a new video goes up. And like I said earlier, we'll be back to regular type of schedule this coming week, now that I'm not going to be going away. And real quickly, I had a chance to go to the Arthur Ashe AEW New York City show on Wednesday, but I was literally in New York over the weekend. I was in New York City for SmackDown a week and a half ago. I was in Chicago and Vegas literally within the last 60 days. I'm fucking done for a while. I don't know if I just can't keep traveling for right now. It's just taking a toll on me. So that being said, we should be back to normally regular scheduled programming, so to speak, this coming weekend. Once again with, here's the lineup. Tomorrow, or today's Monday, but tomorrow, Raw Talk review, maybe an interview thrown in there as well. Wednesday, hashtag AskGSM. Thursday, WrestleRant radio excerpts. Friday, a Marvel What If review. Saturday, SmackDown audio review. Sunday, Talking Smack review. And Monday, a Dark Side of the Ring review. Now, that might be switched up because I do want to review Broken Skull Sessions with Rollins at some point, Seth Rollins, that is. That's going up on Sunday, so I'm not sure when that review will be up, but just keep an eye out for it, and it should be up within the next couple of days after it airs. Have a great one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.